Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of the Speakers Gallery. Our guest today is Reverend Timothy Njoya. Reverend Njoya has a history in this country, a very powerful history. He was a revolutionary who fought for change in this country, and he suffered a lot for the ideals that he held and the freedom that he fought for. Reverend Njoya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to Carino Rock Garden. Yes.
Reverend Njoya, many Kenyans are very young and do not remember your struggle. Although your struggle has been continuous from when you started, and you started, I remember, by that landmark sermon that you gave at St. Andrews in 1986, the 5th of October, in which you extolled the Kenyans to reclaim their freedom. For the beginning, I want to ask you to, first of all, relate your own history. Tell us, who is Reverend Njoya? Where were you born? Where did you go to school? How did you end up the way you are today?
Thank you, sir, for asking that question. I think I've told many Kenyans that my beginnings are very, very, very important because on 5th January 1925, my mother was to be circumcised on that morning on 5th January. She woke up at 2 a.m., went across the Tana River to Tumutumu to escape circumcision. So when they came to fetch for her for circumcision in the morning, they found she had escaped, aborted. So she ran out to Tumutumu. The people wanted to go to Mandamano, to the DC, to have her rescued, to be given TPR, Tribal Police Reserve,
yes,
to rescue her from the missionaries.
Yes.
But instead, the DC, Mr. Makrule, ordered fire to the demonstrators. But the person who was ordered to fire, the TPR, refused. It fired in the air and they ran away. They went home. The head of that delegation, Mr. Kariango, committed suicide because he could not imagine belonging to a clan where a girl is not circumcised. It was anathema. It was taboo. Very, very bad. And someone else took a sword and cut the very sword of Kariango, belonging to Kariango, and cut his genitals. That was the beginning of my revolution. I was not born. I was born in 1941. But that was when I was actually conceived by that action. So when I was born, because she was the head of the woman and she was become a teacher now, the first teacher to get a P4 certificate in Kenya because of that action of aborting circumcision.
She went to Tumutumu Center and she was enrolled in the school.
She started with the men and she graduated with a certificate for P4 certificate for teaching and became a teacher at Tumehuti, where she taught people
yes,
Henry Warithi, a lawyer.
Yes.
She was, and Gobo Jorori was a minister of state.
Yes.
In President.
Henry Warithi himself was an assistant minister, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
He taught, those were students of my mother. And Manakaigwa.
Was he a PS or an assistant minister, Henry Warithi?
He was a Kenyatta's doctor.
Kenyatta's doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. All these,
there was another
not Kenyatta, he was a lawyer.
Yes.
Warithi. But the way she taught people who became doctors.
Yes.
And she taught people who became like Adaman Kaigwa.
Yes.
The initial group of Nyerians,
yes,
who are very, very liberal, were taught by my mom. And so when I was born, I was called Murwa Wadia, son of Wadia, not son of my father. Because the name of Wadia has become anonymous with the fight against circumcision.
Synonymous,
synonymous. And the girls are not being circumcised. I can tell you all their names. Wagoishange, Wakaredi, all those girls who followed her refused to be circumcised. So that's why in Nyeri there's no circumcision. Because of one influence of one lady.
Individual, one lady.
One lady. And that's why I went to, I knew one individual can light a match and fire Kenya into a Motepate, into pluralism, into democracy, into freedom, into sovereignty, because what you need is the truth. Truth alone shall make you free.
So you were born in 1941.
41, but I was conceived in 1925.
Yes, the conception basically started, the idea
of me.
started at that time.
At that time.
The idea that gave birth to this very revolutionary,
was in 1925.
adamant, defiant Njoya starts from the mother.
From my mother.
Okay, then you were born in 41.
1941.
Then where did you go to school? Where did you go to
I went to school where my mother was a teacher.
Yes.
In Mehote.
Yes.
And then we went to village Kaheti. She started that school.
Yes.
She started about 3 schools.
Yes.
Herself.
Yes.
With these banana skins and leaves. That's how she started her schools. And people built them later into better schools now. Now I went to those schools, so every teacher felt they were my biological fathers. I was taken like so I knew more English than my teachers up to Saturday to Form 2, because my mother was speaking English to me many times, making me say John 3:16 in English. For God so loved the world. I could say it before I knew how to learn to speak Kikuyu. She made me. Not only that, my mother made me say whole poetry in front of the church. So I grew a reader of other boys and even of men, because teachers, when I went to school, they felt very, very proud to have me because they were classmates of my mother. My teachers were also my mother's classmates. So I was brought up in an atmosphere of respect,
care, a lot of care. So you finished your primary school in
Kagoma Intermediate School.
Yes.
Then I went to Kagumo.
Kagumo High School.
Kagumo High School.
Which year did you go to Kagumo High School?
1960. Yes. So I went to Kagumo. By then I became the finance chairman, the finance, what you call finance secretary for the Nyaturema. That is the only communist party in Kenya at that time. So I became a communist.
When you're still in secondary school? In
Form 1 I became a communist.
At the age of what, 15, 16, around there?
And 19.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I became communist. In that I was the treasurer. Mwema was getting me money as a treasurer to keep money from Russia.
Yes.
The book is still there. Money, it was banned by the CID. Mr. Bell came from Nairobi. Mr. Mission was Mr. Bell was the CID director. Mr. Bell was the commissioner of police. When we had a communist party in Kagumo, they came there and banned the party.
So these are white guys.
Yeah?
Both of them are white.
Mr. Mission was the commissioner of police before Hinga.
Yes.
And Mr. Bear was the director of CID. So they came to Kagumo. We were summoned in the dining hall and rocked in and interrogated. The first to be interrogated was Moturi, who was chased from school immediately. And then Shiori. He was also chased from school. My turn to be interrogated as the treasurer. Those who were chairman and secretary. I was called to the headman's house first. I was told to sit down. In front of them, I would say, I'm not going to sit down. Why should I sit down before white guys who are having beards? That's a sin. According to our East African standard, you should shave your beard before you tell me to sit down. I told them. They were shocked. They told me, are you a communist? I said that. Who said Jesus didn't die for communists and the capitalists like you? That's how I won my freedom. Because they said, are you going to be a pastor? They shifted from communism to be a pastor. I said yes. That was my mistake because I had to become a pastor. And I'm still a pastor.
Yes.
It is the CID director.
So you finished your high school in
Kagumo.
In which year?
1963. Yeah. Went directly to theological college. At Remuru. It was Makerere, at a Makerere University diploma. So I did a Makerere University diploma. Yes, and I passed with the honors, and therefore, that honors made me accepted to go and study for Master of Divinity in Princeton. Yes.
In the US?
In the US.
Which year did you go?
1968, September.
And you spent there how many years?
8 years. I finished my master's and I did my PhD. My master's took 3 years. 3 years, and my PhD 5 years.
In Princeton University?
Yeah. Okay. Then after that, later I went to I wasn't satisfied with the American education. So I went to Canada and did a Doctor of Divinity. After I got my PhD in America, I went to Canada, Toronto University, did my DD. Yes. So that's, even then I wasn't satisfied with Western education. So I came and established my own library to study Africa. So study African literature in order to broaden my thinking about who I am, my identity.
And then of course did you give sermons at that time? Did you start your revolutionary engagements before you went to Princeton or after you came back from
Even
Princeton?
before 1956. I told you.
I know. After independence. I'm looking after
independence. Okay.
63.
Okay. My first sermon.
Was it easy to?
I was still a minister at St. Andrews.
Yes.
In 1968, I was a minister.
Yes.
And in an all-white congregation.
Yes. All white.
All white.
Yes. They were Presbyterians.
It was a time for Africanization.
Yes.
So with my education being the most educated African minister that time.
Yes.
With my education, except John Beatty anyway, let me say.
Yes.
I was taken to St. Andrews, and here I'm addressing the whole nation through broadcast. And I said, I said, there's a boy called Sammy. He wanted to tax Kenyans directly, became a street boy, flattened tires for people who didn't pay tithe, and who didn't pay tax to him directly. Because when the churches collect tithe, they don't give him anything, because his father didn't educate him. He was in the forest fighting for independence.
Yes.
And therefore, Sammy has a right to tax it, to gain from independence by tithing people directly and taxing people directly, because he is not in school. Kashathi was the director of broadcast. He banned the churches from broadcast. And Moi summoned all church leaders, NCSK leaders, to State House, just like Moi did later on in 1986.
Kenyatta, you mean?
Kenyatta did in 1968. Exactly what Moi did. He summoned church leaders to come and explain why they should abuse the right to broadcast because of me. Then Kenyatta asked Ashathi, who was the minister,
PS in internal security,
for broadcast,
for VOK.
For VOK.
Minister of Information that time.
Minister of Information.
Minister of Information, yeah.
Yes. He asked him, what is wrong? What did you have preached? Kenyatta took his fimbo. You know, he hit Ashathi here. Is that what he preached? That's why we fought for independence. Kenyatta told him, go switch back the voice of Kenya for
the
churches.
live broadcasting.
The live broadcasting.
So Kenyatta agreed with you?
Agreed with me that we should fight for the rights of the poor.
Yes.
And because he said that's why we fought for independence.
But beyond that statement, his actions, did they signify, did his actions also match his words at that time?
But at least I always say, great people are those who make change in their mind, not those who are right.
Yes.
It's those who change their mind when they see the right.
Yes.
Yes. When you see Jesus and you convert, that's greatness, not when you think you are right. Yeah. So I think Kenyatta did a great thing that time. Yes. I met him a few times, but but that's all. But I didn't have a rank to meet him often. Yes.
Okay, you came back from the States.
I came back from the States.
Which year?
1976.
2 years before
in
Kenyatta
October.
died.
Yeah.
2 years before Kenyatta died.
Yes.
Did you now begin your firebrand activity also? As
that was then Kenyatta had already overseen, presided over the death of Pinto.
Yes. Tomboya,
Gigi Kariuki,
JM Kariuki,
or Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, of course, died in a plane crash. And I don't
but it was orchestrated. But thank you. You see all these books about political science.
Yes.
I did political science because I wanted to make a coup, if possible.
Yes.
In this world, I wanted to become a chaplain of a government which remove these dictators.
Yes.
So I did do political science.
So you came back
I very revolutionary.
with your doctorate in divinity.
I was part of the revolution in the world. I was the third world people's coalition leader in Arafat.
Yes.
I met Arafat before.
Yes.
By then,
Yes.
I had met Macarius. I met everybody fighting for freedom by the time I came back to Kenya.
Yes.
So I came back.
Aquino, did you also meet Aquino? Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Now, when I came back, I preached a sermon. I began a personal institute to teach theologically, to teach Africans to become Africans, in order to become genuine Christians.
Yes.
So when I started, I bought the Mazabezi Motero to make it a seminary.
Yes.
After then, I had again another broadcast. Morning, called Lift Up Your Heart.
Yes.
Do you know what I preached?
Yes.
I said, Jesus hates sycophancy. He never made anybody that he healed a disciple. When he healed people and they followed him, told them to go away because indebtedness to Jesus is a crime. He didn't want anybody to be indebted to him.
Yes.
So
he to follow him blindly.
Follow him blindly because they are bribed or they are healed or they are given.
Yes.
Even those he fed and gave food. When they followed him, he told them, go. Don't give them food again. Let them, I don't want sycophancy.
Fend for themselves.
Let them fend for them. I said, this independence of Kenya is an ideology of the Kikuyu middle class. People who are producing coffee, we are trying to give them harabe, correct? To give them handout. I said, Jesus healed people and told them to go away. Take your parrot and walk, not become my follower. Even the disciples, I said, they healed a man who was a cripple in going to the temple. They said, go your way. So I said, now independence can become an ideology of the rich, of the Kikuyu. Harabe is an ideology of the Kikuyu middle class. That evening, 9 policemen, whom I know they are to be the head of the Kikuyu police station.
Yes.
I was staying at Kikuyu.
Yes.
They came with the machetes, with the pangas, and the thimbles.
Yes.
And I was going to open my door to go out to give my food, dog food, and to give to park the car. So I saw a panga see me in the air. To protect my head, I did like that. I lost this finger.
Wow.
You can see it's all lost.
Wow.
I lost that finger.
Completely.
Completely. You can
big,
see it has been
all the way down here.
I had lost one.
Yes.
I lost my finger. Then I saw the same, another person with a panga trying to do like that.
Yes.
Then I did like that, I lost this finger.
Yes. Wow.
You can see, it cannot stand up. It's a scan. Then I lost this one. I lost now 3 fingers.
Yes.
Now I decided I don't want my hand finished.
Yes.
So I'm going to fight with this hand.
Yes.
You can see I was cut here.
Yes.
Again, another finger. So now I decided to lose my thumb, my toes.
Yes.
I jumped. This man was huge like human.
Yes.
I put my police belt, he had a police belt.
Yes.
I put my toes here, my shoes here.
Yes.
Left-handed him up into the air.
Yes.
With the back.
Yes.
I held him in the air. He took his panga. He put it on my neck.
Yes.
He told me, I want and you are dead. I told him, I've forgiven you. And God has forgiven you. Yes.
And he left.
Forgive me also because I've hit you with my... I thought I had hit him in the tummy.
Yes.
Forgive me.
Yes.
Then I let him off. He is the one who took my thumb, put it back, tied it, but put it the wrong way facing the other side. He was not a doctor.
Yes.
He wasn't trained in medicine or a good surgeon.
Yes.
Then he took this one, tied it facing the other way around and this facing the other way around. So my fingers face 3 directions.
Yes. Oh my God.
But at least he tied them.
Yes. And told it to run to the store.
They took my daughter's handkerchief was there. No, head cross.
Yes.
They tied them.
Yes.
Then I told him, I've given you my Bible, and you have given you my jacket, which was hanging on the wall. You have given you I gave them a lot of things before I died.
Yes.
Then one said, no, don't take the Bible. Then they pulled me from the floor. Before I lost consciousness, they put them on the sofa set, the living room.
Yes.
And then they laid me to rest. Then I gave them a car to go, my car keys. They gave them to my wife to take me to hospital. 3 days, I was beat. You can see even this bone was cut through.
Yes. Wow.
This bone was cut through with a panga.
Yes.
And also I can show you my intestine were out.
Yes. Wow.
Can you see?
Wow.
With pangas.
Wow.
So now, what do I do? My wife took me to hospital. 3 days in Nairobi hospital.
Yes.
I was looking up with a lot of, bandages everywhere for my head, plasters here. I woke up, I looked up, and I saw the doctor whom I know called Dr. Munuhe from Kikuyu Hospital, who had helped my wife to bring me to...
He rushed you to Nairobi
Hospital. I told him, Dr. Munuhe, what are you doing here in heaven? I left you in the world to be preaching the gospel. Yes, what are you doing here? Then I started seeing better. I saw my wife. I told him, and you came with my wife. I left her to look after
the children.
Not after the world, to preach the gospel. Why are you two here doing here? Then I started feeling pain.
Then you realized you're still on earth.
Yeah?
You realized you're still on earth living.
I wanted the switch from where I was, very happy, to
back to earth.
Back to earth, feeling now pain in my body. Then I realized I'm still in the world. Then it's when I resolved, my first resolve, I must continue the fight.
Yes.
I decided that the purpose for God saving me was to continue with the struggle.
Absolutely.
That's what I resolved. I cannot shed my blood for nothing. You know what I said?
Absolutely.
Mwalimu, I said, Jesus did not shed his blood for nothing. That's why we are.
You're not going to shed yours for nothing.
I'm not going to shed mine for nothing. I'm going to continue with the struggle.
Daktari, just hold on to your thoughts. We'll have a short commercial break.
Yes.
Viewers, we shall have a short commercial break and shall be right back. Welcome back, viewers. For those of you who are just joining us, our guest today is Reverend Dr. Timothy Njoya. I cut you short when you were in hospital that time.
Yes.
And you stayed for how long in that hospital before you were discharged?
Before I gained my consciousness, it was exactly 3 days. Yes.
And then you stayed for...
I was cut on Labor Day.
Yes.
So I woke up from the ICU 3 days after, 3 days later.
After Labor Day.
So I rose again after 3 days. Yes. That was my, I died, I was killed 3 other times.
Yes.
Kenyatta once, Moi twice. Yeah.
In your library here,
yes,
which is only part of your library, we have libraries upstairs, you have books, tons and tons of books. And all we see is that books on political science, books on security studies, books on law, books on constitutionalism, and I'm seeing many different countries, of course, theology books, which are not far too many in here. Upstairs, I know there are very many, but here there are not that many. Theology books, including the Qurans. I've seen a number of copies of Quran in your own study upstairs.
Yes.
With all these many, many years of experience of academic, intellectual exposure, you have met who is who in the world. You have met Jimmy Carter, you have met Kofi Annan, you have met Ocampo, you have met literally everybody who matters in the globe. You shared a prize with Corazon Aquino, a global prize, and you have so many awards. Do you think this country needs to amend the constitution to make our system a parliamentary system as opposed to the presidential system that we have?
No, triple no. Reason being, we have not yet implemented the most positive aspects of the constitution. Chapter 4 on behavior, on conduct, on morality. We have not implemented the institutions on proper governance.
Yes, you see, you have books on law. You are the only person who has not studied law but who knows so much of law. I haven't seen anybody like you. Because
I know, because you know,
yes.
I went to the Constitutional Court
yes.
with people like Professor Ogedo,
yes,
Professor
yes,
Guy,
yes,
and
yes,
you,
yes,
and
many of us.
an argued case.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I went to take the parliamentarians to court to pay taxes.
Yes.
And imagine, they were lawyers, those parliamentarians.
Absolutely.
And yet they couldn't win the case.
You won the
because
case,
they were not
yes.
making sense.
Absolutely.
They were lawyers,
Yes.
but without making any legal sense.
Now, what I'm trying to come to is there's a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. There are all those people who keep on talking about Chapter 6 of our laws, Chapter 4 of our laws. There is a chance if somebody does not go through the full process, go through the initial courts, all the way up to the appellate, the final appellate, and then when the person loses all that, you could safely say, this person is a criminal, this person is guilty. But somebody who has not been proven by any court as being guilty, but who is there only on a suspicion, because when you're brought to court, you're presumed innocent, but then you're seen as a person of interest. That can be misused very much by people who have the instruments of power in their own hands. Now, we can't implement some of these chapters because of that constitutional provision of the presumption of innocence until proven guilty.
But we don't have to hang a few judges and a few politicians. Do you know why? Not many, only the three.
Yes.
As a lesson that nothing is absolute.
Yes.
No right is
absolute.
Absolute. No right is absolute.
Yes.
Even right to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
You must defend yourself to the point you don't kill the other one.
Yes, yes.
So
agreed.
You agree.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But when I say the due process,
but these people are taking
the presumption.
in their hands.
The presumption is so. I know that there's a lot of frustration on many people who are suspects who have appeared in court, but who then go back again to the offices as governors to go and run the same system that essentially they
that's what I'm saying. That's abuse of law.
And
even when you give some people,
and then the distinction between who is a state officer and who is a public officer is there, because when you're a public officer, the moment you're taken to court, you're supposed to be interdicted and you have to be on a half pay until the matter itself is concluded. But when then they come back again and say the state officer is different. The state officer, members of parliament are state officers, the president, and everybody else who's there.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that. If we can, I know that I have said it before.
Yeah.
That during the early church,
yes,
when the church was in the formation,
yes,
the Holy Spirit executed
yes,
Ananias and Sapphira for cheating the community, the Ummah.
Yes.
You cannot go against the Ummah in the name of the laws of that Ummah. So I'm saying you cannot contradict God's law by using the same laws.
Yes.
So I'm saying when people become the law, they use the law to become the law.
Look, I'm
talking philosophically now.
Yes.
When you absolutize the law to protect yourself,
yes,
you should not be allowed. You should not be allowed. That's why I like China, because
ethical.
Even though they have the law, the same,
yes,
they put the same. My son had taught law
yes,
in China for 4 years before he went to teach in Micronesia.
Yes.
And he knows that the same law that you are innocent until proven guilty in China. But when it is the law enforcers themselves who want that right, they are hanged.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the government is the one, if the government which should use that law abuses it, what do you do with it?
What I'm trying to come to is, in this case, let's assume for argument's sake, as we have right now, we have cabinet ministers who can do what they want without being accountable to anyone.
Using the same law.
Yes, we have a system.
That's what is abuse.
Yeah. Can I just finish? We have a system in which the ministers come from outside parliament. We have a system in which the head of the government is not accountable to parliament. We have a system in which the government is not accountable to the people, because ordinarily the people are supposed to hold the government accountable through their own elected leaders who will ask these questions in parliament.
I know where you are heading to.
When we had a system ourselves, the system that we had prior to this new constitutional, the implementation or operationalization of this constitution, ministers were in parliament to answer questions. Prime Minister, who was the head of the government at that time, was there and sharing
that was wrong.
The instrument in government, in Parliament. So it was possible but right now, you go there, you ask a question, and you are given an answer by a fellow member of Parliament who comes from a constituency.
That was what was wrong, because what happened is that that gave the...
Changing that system right now.
The parliamentarian, the minister...
To something similar to what we had before, by having a prime minister being head of the government, accountable to the people, on the floor of the House, and the cabinet is selected from Parliament
That's
itself.
Pharisee. I'm telling you where the Pharisee is.
Okay, tell me why.
When you have a person who is an executive and at the same time is elected,
yes,
what it means is accountable to the state and also to the people. To punish that person, you have to do reference to the people.
Yeah.
You have to have him recalled by the people. We refuse to implement that into law.
The right of recalling.
The right of recalling. So let's say that Uhuru now, because we are refusing to be accountable, he wants to sack a cabinet minister. He can do it without having to do reference to the people, without the proper recall from the people, who you cannot remove today. And I don't know how the court is evading telling Waititu to go home is a violation of democracy in a way, where we need to tell it because he's not appointed by the state, he is elected by the people. So the people should have been referred to release him so that to not to go to the office. So I'm trying to say that, you know, our ego mind, to whom do you owe loyalty? Is it to the state or to the people? To the people. Yes. Because we stopped the Lancaster Constitution said this, you know that very well. The state is sovereign. It was given the power of the Queen to be sovereign. Now we have changed this, and I went to court. You know, I went to a court case.
The sovereignty now resides with the people through the elected leaders.
Yeah, yes. The sovereignty belongs to the people, not to the state.
Through the elected leaders.
They are through the elected people. So now I'm saying, when you tell a person who is elected, and he is a cabinet minister,
yes,
you cannot punish him without, first of all, going back to the electorate.
Well, once he's censured in Parliament itself and is unable to answer questions adequately, and Parliament is of the opinion that the minister has issues of credibility, then of course, if the censure motion is carried, that person has no legitimacy of being.
Of course, why don't they do that?
The president will have to drop him, or else he will go and resign himself. And it happened.
Yeah, why don't they do that?
Remember, we had this issue of the matters that essentially touched on Kimunya when he had no choice but to resign.
You have the right answer.
They were saying, step aside, with Wetangula, we had all these ministers who basically came under fire on the floor of the House, but they had an opportunity to defend themselves on the floor of the House. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that you have a minister who is not a member of the Parliament, who has no opportunity to defend himself on the floor of the House,
and that's better.
Who you have to hold him accountable.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You have a president who is the only person who has the powers to sack him or to ask him to step aside, who is not also accountable.
No, I think it's a lack of proper understanding again of the concept, the principles of the law. Who approved the cabinet minister to be a cabinet minister?
The president and Parliament.
The Parliament. They can withdraw their approval and he can go home. He has no legitimacy anymore. They can remove his legitimacy and the court will not uphold the appointment.
He will go to the court and demand the cardinal right to be heard.
Okay, it will be hard, I understand.
Yeah, but where will you hear him? You see,
okay, I'm saying
Parliament is a quasi-judicial body.
I agree.
It's a quasi-judicial body. He cannot come to Parliament to defend
himself. The government doesn't want to argue the case well, yes, he can win. But I'm saying that should be there. I don't mind. There should be mechanisms of checks and balances.
Yes.
That's why we have the court.
Yes.
So that.
Then don't you think this constitution
is
fairly inadequate?
If Parliament withdraws its pronometer, what you call is stamping of approving of a cabinet minister, he loses legitimacy. But it is afraid of doing so because it's part of the mechanism which
the only way corruption. Once Parliament approves and this person is appointed by the president, and takes up his position, his or her position.
The
only way...
Motion of no confidence can remove him because it is the one whose confidence made him appointable by the president. Yeah. But, I mean, logically.
Okay, let's assume for argument's sake, today you have an opportunity to be the president of this country. Or any position you think of influence that you believe can make fundamental changes in the way our country is run, and you think you can take this country to Canaan, what would you have done?
First of all, you are mistaken. I cannot be a president of a mean, small country like this one, poor. Mean, small, and poor. I cannot be. That's why I'm a revolutionary to change from that. First of all, I have to succeed in changing this country from being mean, poor, and small.
Yes.
I don't mean small geographically in space.
Yes.
I mean small in mind.
In the mind.
In the mind. I don't know. I cannot be.
Let's assume, for argument's sake, right now you have to go through a struggle to change people's perceptions, to change government.
Of being small-minded and poor.
To being small-minded, but now you have an opportunity to be the president of this country. What would you do that can change and transform all that you have?
I would celebrate all my life that we are no longer mean, small, and poor. You see, because there's a principle of democracy.
What are the structural
of
changes that you can make?
A good president is the one who rules least, isn't it?
Yes.
A good president should be celebrated.
Hands off.
Hands off the government.
But Uhuru is a hands off as much as possible. Most people say that he's...
that may be his...
It's a weakness for him, you think?
No, but he put his hands off too quick. He said, what do you want me to do? What do you want? You have to first of all exert your authority, which is given by the state before you can have hands off.
So you admit that you can make a lot of changes?
I can do a lot of change.
Give us...
Because I would appoint
very capable people.
Like you and many others whom I know.
Yes.
So I would appoint I would not, and thieves would fear crossing me because they would be hanged. You see? So, but now,
what is the biggest problem in this country? Is it corruption? Is it tribalism? Is it
none?
What is it? Which is our biggest unmaking?
Because the way we were educated.
Is it population explosion?
It's nurture, improper nurture.
Yeah.
We were nurtured to become, not to think that Kenya belongs to someone else, not us. It belongs to the white man.
So we still believe the way we believe
we
the colonial time.
It's not our country.
Anything you do against the government is a contribution towards independence.
Yes.
Or rather, towards the struggle.
To getting rich.
So stealing from the government is seen by ordinary Kenyans as being a normal thing.
Yes, that's what we do. That we transform with, what you call African nationalism is actually appropriation of white racism into ourselves. But racism against each other rather than against the white men.
Yes.
Because we cannot access the white men. Then we,
now that,
like in South Africa.
Yes.
The nationalism in South Africa.
You had a lot of kind words for Jaramogi Oginga Odinga.
Yes.
You were convinced that when he said not yet Uhuru, you agreed with him.
Of course.
Do you agree that the son has taken over the mantle from where the father left it and is a revolutionary also?
The problem is that the drive is different.
Yes.
The drive for his father was ideological. That's why we were buddies.
Yes. And what is his drive?
He hasn't said it.
What do you see as the in your opinion, the beauty, the prospects, the utility of the so-called handshake now?
The handshake. Yeah. It was a good interim.
Yes.
What do you call?
Ceasefire.
Stopgap. But it has not transformed my...
Painkiller.
Yeah. You saw Campo there. And
I saw Campo in your office there with Kofi Annan, yes.
Combating me for saying that they are not accepting our African ways of resolving problems by exchanging a few blows.
Yes.
But now, I think, because you can see it was a stopgap.
Yeah.
Because the constitution between Laila or his followers, the way he leads them, and others still continuing, even though he used Ruto as his proxy one time.
Yes.
But the problem is now it comes in the hand of a handshake.
Yes.
But it's not something agreed by the people, it's by two people.
Yes.
I wish we need a referendum to accept the handshake.
Yes.
To say who votes for it and who doesn't. Now, it is not democratic. This what they are calling this other what they are calling the constitutional change, the group,
It's Keleweke.
that commission for fact-finding.
Oh yeah, BBI.
BBI.
Yes.
BBI is an gentlemanly agreement, just like the MOU between Raila and Kibaki.
Yeah.
You remember the original?
Which never went far, never saw the light of the day. It only worked to the extent of the election being concluded when they're together in one.
Even this one,
within a few days of Kibaki being declared a president, Raila had a problem accessing status.
He had the same deal with Moi,
Yes.
but it was frustrated by Moi preferring Uhuru, Kenyatta.
Yes.
But I'm saying these gentlemen agreements, they are good because they give us a breathing space. They give us interim.
Respite. You get a respite.
Yeah, a respite.
Kind of a painkiller.
Yes, a painkiller.
The country is bleeding.
A tranquilizer.
The tranquilizer.
Yes.
The country is bleeding, so we might as well have,
take that opportunity and do better.
Feel good kind of a thing.
It's an opium. But
the sickness is still there.
But I'm trying to say this.
Yes.
But Kenyans, if they knew how to take advantage of that, they can go very far.
Yes.
But instead of taking advantage,
yes.
to go beyond
how
organizing, doing things to organize, to bring themselves together.
What has it done? It has more than anything else hyped up and increased the temperatures on 2022.
Euphoria than hope.
Euphoria. Yeah. There's no hope. Yes,
it's not hope. Euphoria is not hope.
Yeah.
Everything called euphoric, like independence, was a good euphoria.
And there's no money in the country. There's no money also.
Yes, there's no money also. So all I'm saying is that we can thank Kibaki and Raila because they gave us an opportunity to translate from Moi to something else.
Which was good in a sense.
Which was good in a sense.
Yes.
Now we can thank God for Anani, what they called Agenda 4, Agenda 4, because they gave us a translation.
Yes.
But other than the value of giving that, what do you call, breathing space, there are no value. Now we are at, again, another level.
There's no substance.
There's no substance.
So we're going to elect for elections. Agenda 4 is not going to be delivered.
Which agenda?
This Agenda 4.
Is it for agenda?
Housing, universal health care.
But that's a robbery or without violence. You know that? You read our constitution. I was there when we wrote it down.
Industrialization, food
all those
security.
things, we wrote them down in our constitution.
Yes.
They are not Uhuru's.
Yes.
He is stealing our agenda. It is not his. His agenda is to be rich. That agenda is a socialist agenda, which Ogiga stood for, which I stood for, and which is now in the hands of a capitalist. Yes. So I'm saying, how can he implement it? He cannot.
Or capitalists.
Yeah.
Or many capitalists.
I mean, he cannot. No, the system he has and has brought him where he is cannot achieve that agenda because unless he is going, unless he is going to instead of eating and throwing the remains into the dustbin, unless he starts eating and he's throwing into instead of throwing into the dustbin, he packaged for the poor and hungry. He doesn't throw it away. But I mean,
the leftovers. The leftovers.
I don't mind eating his leftover. But
there's no leftover.
But they eat. And the leftover they put in the dustbin.
Yes.
Instead of packaging. And selling it to Madare and Kibera. But now, that, the leftover of a few guys in the State House would enough to feed the Kibera for a whole year.
Yes.
You know that?
Yes, I didn't know.
I didn't know. No, the leftovers, which they throw in every house where they stay has a dustbin.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a dustbin in Kibera?
No.
Or have you ever seen a dustbin in Madare? They have nothing to eat and they throw away. They eat everything and not enough. So I'm saying, you are making it a joke by laughing, but I'm saying,
I know.
But tell me, which gate you go? Go to Mathaiga Street. And a road. Do you see any gate without a dustbin?
No.
Have you ever seen a dustbin in Kibera? Have you ever seen one?
I wasn't very observant on that.
But they have never.
The next time I'll be very observant.
I don't know even, the word dustbin.
Yes.
Even the city council didn't care taking dustbin. When the city council used to give. I live in Igumo.
I know.
And one day the city council brought me a dustbin.
Yes.
And I was a minister that time at Murango Kumbwa.
Yes.
The city council didn't take a dustbin there because they say they knew those people don't eat and throw away food.
Yes.
So if all the food we put in the dustbin,
yes,
were
repackaged.
Were repackaged.
Yes, it will feed the people of Mathare.
And the Kepera.
Yes.
For a whole year.
Yes.
Yeah, because we did it. So I'm saying that's all we need.
So there's a lot of wastage in this country.
It's a lot of wastage, but
I'm putting and the rich are super rich.
Yeah, that's why you are interpreting me. I'm making a political statement.
Yes.
But in a humorous way.
Yes.
And I'm saying the only way, instead of having what you're calling a big agenda for, the best way is to make sure I will say a dustbin in Mathare, because that food they throw away.
Yeah.
Those wastes they do with the gas rods or petrol gas rods or all those kind of things they do, the way they live, all that waste, it can uplift Mathare to a better standard. Do you know that?
I know.
That's why I'm saying if they could do that, then that would be not. It says, would it make what you are calling Agenda 4?
Among the 4 items in the Agenda 4 is universal health care, and the other one is food security. When does a country become
if they are food
secure?
If people have food security, they won't need health.
Yes.
They would be healthy.
They'll be very healthy, yes. It's a preventative,
It would take
Most people are becoming sick because they don't have the immune system properly boosted, because they do not have the right nutritional inputs or intakes into their own systems.
Yes, these people
living on less than $1.
These people feed their dogs better than they feed, and their chicken and their cattle. They feed them better than they feed their voters.
Yes.
I don't know why they vote for them. Yes.
So what, in your opinion, is the solution?
The solution is to be conscious that democracy is obligation to take care of each other and a right to be taken care of. It is democracy is everybody's obligation to take care of everybody. And it is everybody's right to be taken care of by everybody. If we knew that, then we would be accepting people's votes because we are accepting the obligation. If you don't accept the obligation to take care of everybody, you should not be a leader.
Tell me about the population explosion. The population explosion. Our country is going to well over 50 million.
There will not be. There's nobody who is throwing food in the dustbin who has more than 3 children.
Yes.
Population explosion is a matter of self-guarantee for survival. It's an instinct for survival. It's fear. That insecurity. We are talking. Insecurity is not simply about. We don't fight insecurity by employing watchmen. But we also. The poor, who can also employ a watchman, have security by having more babies.
You have a constituency that essentially is very powerful.
You are right.
Have you ever considered, instead of being an activist, running for politics like Archbishop Macarius?
Okay, let me tell you that I've been together with I've done better than Macarius in that he didn't influence his constituency the way I've influenced mine democratically and consciousness. I was a member, and I assume I'm not being sacked, of the Ambassadors of Peace with Bishop Bulumwananzeki. It's a Catholic Jesuit organization.
I know.
I am also a member of the National Council of Churches. Not only a member, I'm the patron. The only, me and Bethel Kipugat, we were the patron. He died. And the people who were patron before me died.
I also have a lot of respect for him.
Yes, now I'm the only patron living. And so what I'm trying to say is, my influence is not simply through one denomination. It is through interaction. Not
only denominations, but other faiths. Like the Muslims, you have a lot of influence in the Muslims.
All these people. My influence is not the sectarian. That's the word I was looking for. I'm not a sectarian person. That's why I studied all these subjects.
And I've seen you have put in Wagala massacre in your office up there.
Of course.
and you literally 1984 Wagala massacre.
Yes.
You have three landmarks.
Three landmarks of my life.
Yeah, of your life. One
Yes.
was the Wagala massacre.
Massacre.
There was the other one, Sabasaba.
Sabasaba.
21 people were killed.
The emergency.
Emergency.
Limuru. Those were the three
Limuru,
landmarks.
whatever.
Shocking,
Yes.
traumatizing, or
Yes.
shitting.
Yes.
The Wagala massacre traumatized me.
Yes.
And
it's very, very, what do you call, you put it, and I hope and pray that many people come to your office here to see how you have basically recognized that.
And I put that in 1902 there.
Yes, you have support across the different faiths and ethnicities. You're known to criticize Mount Kenya leaders much more than you criticize anybody else.
And my church.
Your own church and your own
More
bucket.
than anybody else.
Yes. Why don't you run for a political position as a president in this country?
It would be very demeaning if I would abandon a broad constituency like that to occupy a Mukurweine or a Kajiado constituency.
As a presidential candidate, you don't have to have a constituency.
I think you have forgotten so quickly.
Yes.
I said, I don't want to remain in a small, mean, and poor country like this one. Yes. I want to change it to become broad, great, big, respectable.
Through other
means, through organizational mobilization. That's why we are here to help me do that.
I have known you for close to 30 years.
Yes.
I have always respected you.
Thank you so much.
continue to respect you again. It's a pleasure for me to have this opportunity to interview you in your own library.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward for you to have many, many more years.
Thank you.
Healthy years. You're about 80 now?
I am 78. I have 61 years more to reach 139.
And you are hoping that you live to 139?
Of course.
Very strong and very healthy?
Of course.
And I've seen the kind of things you've done right now. I mean, these trees.
Sculptures?
Yeah.
Natural sculptures.
Natural sculptures which you nurtured yourself.
Yeah.
These trees, you nurtured them.
The way I nurture Kenya.
You bent them into the manners they're in here.
And I leave them to grow the way they want where I cannot reach.
Yes.
Yes. Let them free.
I've seen also the cave you have out there.
Yes.
Which has a history, a powerful history.
Yes.
That basically tries to look at Kenya from cradle to
the future.
To the future. Thank you very much, Dr. Reverend Timothy Njoya. I'm looking forward to another very fruitful, lengthy debate. This is not. I'm not just hosting you here. It's an interactive debate. But I like it very much. Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is my first.
Yes.
My first truly intellectual
interview engagement. Yes.
Discourse.
Thank you.
It was a discourse. It was
We've
like
discussed,
an interview.
I'm sure the viewers don't know, but we've been there for about an hour before we started the show talking about things.
You see, these questions, which I normally get, like Q&A, question and answer. This one today is very different.
Thank you very much.
It's a discussion.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And God bless you. And
God bless you. And I'll
give you more years than you have lived.
Thank you. Thank you.
Live as long as the Tana River.
Thank you. Thank you. Viewers, thank you very much. We have come to the end of the show.